Zach Life beat depression. It's day 766, and we're back with another fix of somatic healing sessions to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here now. Anyone who's tuning in later, as you guys and girls know, it's a martial arts for mental health show, and we like to focus in on those mental health tools because without mental health, nothing else really matters. So first mental health tool we usually cover on the show pretty much every day is that powerful tool of gratitude. Shout out gratitude to the first one in, Ken Bro 77. I see you. Appreciate that support. Thank you for tuning in. And to anybody else who's tuning in now or later, appreciate you guys and girls out there. I want to also shout out gratitude to the SAC fam, the home team out here in Kearney, New Jersey, helping raise awareness and empower others with free training. That is Master Checo, Billy the Savage, and Mike the Executioner out there. Everybody for showing up and for helping build up this cause in our local community. We're either raising awareness or doing that personal training with others and exposing them to tools that might help them potentially save their lives if it's the thing that works for them, right? As individuals, we all have to find those tools that work for us. For me, it was hitting that heavy bag that allowed me to overcome clinical depression and suicidal ideation. But for others, it might be shadowboxing, or it might be the breathwork tools, or it might be that visualization or meditation. There's so many different ways that we can help ourselves and help others in the process. So I just want to shout out gratitude to all those out there supporting and sharing those tools with one another. Home team, you guys and girls out there virtually. Lisa Luminary, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I hope that you caught that episode from yesterday, day 765. As a backup, we back up everything to YouTube. And if Instagram goes down ever again in the future, please do check out or subscribe to our YouTube channel at SAC Life Daily. That way you won't miss an episode. And if that goes down too, you could join our email list on saclifeofficial.com, and we'll find a way to make sure that those classes get that out there for you so we can share that progress and continue to show up for each other no matter what the current social media climate becomes. I also want to thank you, shout out gratitude to Brett, aka Soul, for being here, for showing up, for being consistent. And that is the end of my gratitude tool. So go ahead. One more. Mad with Hats. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. So you are all part of my gratitude section. Go ahead and think about something you're grateful for. It can be more than one thing. The more we practice that tool, the more powerful it can become in our lives. And that'll help put you in a positive mindset as we move into today's lesson. Bang, bang. Hope everyone is well. Heck yeah. Doing great out here. Just got caffeine in me, so I'm ready to go. And yeah, after this, I'm going to be giving myself a bonus round on that heavy bag over there at the gym with a couple of the local guys. So shout out to them, shout out gratitude to those guys. And remember, give yourself that challenge. If this class is not enough to get your heart rate up and get that energy out, then go ahead and give yourself a bonus round. It can be anything. Personal training time with Bob, with the bag, with the speed bag, in a martial arts class, anything. As long as you're giving yourself that challenge that you can overcome each day. Which brings us into our second mental health tool. Before I go into that, shout out to Luca. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Second mental health tool we're talking about is that progress tracking tool. Keeping track of the number of days we crush that daily goal and build that forward momentum will reinforce in our minds the truth, which is we are stronger than the debilitating effects of depression or anxiety. This number is your proof that you're stronger. And you can look at that and it can fortify you on those days that you are dealing with those negative thoughts, because we all go through blue periods and depression is on a scale, right? We're all going to experience it maybe at some level at least, even if it's a minimal non-critical level. We're still going to experience bad things. Bad things will happen. We'll be down and we could slip into depression. And one of the things that helps remind us that those feelings and thoughts are temporary is keeping track of the number of days that we overcome them. So make sure you keep track of that number, let it build up in your life and help support you and remind you of how strong and powerful you really are. It's been 766 days of consecutive progress for me. It's been 85 days for Brett. Good stuff, brother. Thank you for keeping track and thank you for sharing that number, because that's one of the other things that we can do to help each other, right? Help that bigger picture. We can improve our lives for ourselves, share that progress with others, and then they can improve their lives. And by associating with people who are improving their lives, we get to improve our social environment, right? People are environment. When we improve our environment, it comes back to us. We improve our life situation. So thank you for sharing that number. And my mom said I am Mr. What If. I don't know what that means, but Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that, buddy, but we're going to carry on. Keep track of that progress. Make sure you're writing it down somewhere you can see it. That way it can reinforce you and have those positive effects. And we're going to get into today's lesson. Today's lesson, we'll be talking offense and defense, and it'll be standard rounds. Once I get this timer booted up, boom. Standard rounds, 3 minutes each, 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath and drink some water. Make sure that you've got hydration out there, staying super hydrated, very important. And make sure you're pushing to your level. Got to give ourselves a challenge, otherwise we won't experience growth in life. And we know that progress, that growth is success, and there's unlimited road ahead of us for more and more success. So make sure you're staying hydrated so you can properly give yourself that challenge. And make sure you're tuning into you in the moment today. It's all about showing up for yourself in the moment. Doesn't matter what we put in yesterday or what we're going to put in tomorrow. It's about what we can do today to benefit ourselves today. And that being said, hydration, let's talk about the lesson. Remember, when we practice these striking techniques, always visualize that target in front of you and assign it the word you want to work on. If it's depression, it is a depression dummy. You want to visualize that depression dummy so we can knock those lies out of its stupid face. If it's anxiety, visualize an anxiety dummy. Just put the word anxiety on the front of that visualized figure, or embody that thought, that idea of anxiety. Embody it in that physical form so that you can land those punches on target and knock those lies out of its face. And we know they're lies because of our number tool. We know we can overcome those thoughts that things like anxiety or depression try to feed us. Those thoughts like we can't get up, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. That number's our proof that we can. So keep track of that number, visualize that target. And today we're going to work with basics, the jab and the cross, but we're also going to talk about defense against the jab and the cross and countering the jab and the cross. So when we toss the jab, right, we're twisting through the body, we're rotating those shoulders, rotating those hips, extending that fist forward, we're visualizing those large two knuckles, pop, hitting that dummy right in the face. We want the thumb tucked underneath the fingers. If you're hitting the bag, same thing. You want to keep the wrist nice and straight, turn that wrist over, tuck that thumb under the fingers, and we want to land on those large two knuckles. So that's the jab twisting through, the cross twisting through. Now, to defend against those things, if we're going to get into a sparring situation or a conditioning situation with friends, we want to be able to defend ourselves against the basics. So the basic defense is going to be a slip. From Muay Thai stance, we've got the guard high by the brow line, right? And all we're going to do is we're going to try and move our head off that center line, out of the way of that fist. And we only need to move it the size of a fist, because our opponent's going to be tossing that fist right down, trying to make contact with our face. So all we need to do is just get our face right out of the way, boom, of that fist. So it's just going to take a little bit of motion here, a little bit of rotation. It's the same kind of rotation that we put into those punches. So when we toss the jab, boom, we're twisting through this way. When we're slipping an incoming jab from an orthodox fighter, someone who's standing is right-handed, most people right-handed, their rear leg is going to be their right leg. So when they're throwing a jab, and we're throwing a jab, we're twisting the same way. When we're defending from that jab, we're going to twist the same way again, but this time, instead of tossing the fist out here, we're going to bring that guard up high by the brow line and turn in. Just bring that shield in. Bring that elbow into the center area and keep that guard high, using the fist to kind of brace against the head. If you've got gloves on, the glove will act as a shock absorber. We're going to put that up here against the head, or a centimeter away from the head here. We're going to turn in just like we're turning in for the jab, but instead of tossing the fist forwards, we're going to keep the hand high by the brow line and just bring that elbow in to defend. Right? We just want to move our head off that line, and if we are going to get hit, we want them to hit the glove, not our face. So that jab's coming in, we're turning our head off the line, putting the glove up, and that's going to keep us out of the way of danger, and if we do get hit, it deflects off the hand. Now for the cross, it's the same thing. When we toss the cross, we're twisting on the rear foot, we're sending that rear fist forwards, right? Turning that fist over, landing on the large two knuckles. And when we slip the cross, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to twist the same way when we're dealing with an orthodox fighter. So for the jab, we're twisting in here, tossing the jab. To slip the jab, same twist, same rotation. We're just going to keep that guard high by the head. Shout out to Main Gonza and to Slayer Ken. Thanks for being here, for sharing your progress at 374 days. Good stuff, brother. Proud of you. out there. All right, back on track. We're talking about slips. We've got our basic, the jab, right? Twisting through for the jab. Now slipping the jab, we're going to twist through the same way. Twisting through hips and shoulders. Just bringing that head off the center line and bringing that guard up high. Keeping that guard. Turn the palm in towards the head. Tuck the chin, right? Roll the shoulder. Make that guard nice and tight and get the head off the line. For the cross, it's the same thing. We're twisting through. Ball of the rear foot, twisting through the hips and shoulders. And if we're going to slip the cross, same thing. We're going to twist through the hips and shoulders, bringing that head off the line, keeping the guard high, and bringing that elbow into the center line. Shoulder rolled up, we'll defend the chin as well, tucking the chin in. We can become this nice shell, this impenetrable shell. Now, something to note too, when you're slipping punches, you don't want to lose your visual contact with your opponent. We still want to keep our eyes on our target so we can effectively counter and we can see what's coming next and prepare for that on the slip. So when you're turning in, make sure that you don't completely obscure your vision, right? There's going to be a sweet spot in there when you bring this fist up to defend the head and you're turning in where your vision can still see through that curve in the hand. And sometimes guys will guard like this. Again, it's going to leave this opening here, and even if you're all the way shelled up, you can kind of peekaboo, you can look through that opening right in that guard there, boom, and keep your eyes on that target, even though you're slipping, right? We're slipping, but we're keeping that target in view. So jab, cross, slip the jab, I still have my eye on my target, guard's high, slip the cross, again, head's off the line, guard is high, but I can still see my target. I don't want to obscure my view. So that's going to be good. So we can see the next move that's coming. We can anticipate that, anticipate the slip, and also good so that we can counter them. One other point we want to make before we get into the session is making sure you don't lose eye contact. You turn through, and also, what was the other? Oh, we're turning to the outside of each punch. Sorry. Too many wheels going sometimes. Shout out to Officially Yusuf. Appreciate you out there. Thank you for the support. So when we're talking about that slip, we want to slip to the outside of the punch. And that's why I was mentioning orthodox fighters. Fighters who fight, they're right-handed, their right leg is back, right? And this is our standard stance, our orthodox stance. So when an orthodox fighter throws a jab, which way do we want to slip our head out of that danger zone? If we put our head on this side of the fist, then we're putting our head in danger and at risk of getting a cross right to the face or something else. But if we put our head on this side of the fist, now we're on the outside of that danger zone, and we're going to expose his weaknesses. So when I toss a jab forwards, if my opponent slips that jab properly, right, then my jab is going to deflect this way, and it's going to leave me open to counter all the way over here. Counter to the head, counter to the body, counter uppercuts, all kinds of counters you can toss in there. And I'm going to be in a safe zone because I deflected to the outside of that punch. So I want to keep that in mind when you're training as well. Shout out to Broloni and to Master Checo out there. Thank you guys so much for supporting. Catch you guys in the bonus round a little bit later. So we're talking about jabs and crosses. We're talking about defense for that jab and cross. And if we have time in our final round, we'll talk about countering. Or as we move through, we'll talk about countering that cross and how you want to throw an overhand to get over that extended jab or that extended cross of our opponent, right? If we throw a straight cross back and they threw a straight cross, then we're going to wind up running into the arm. So what we want to do is kind of rotate over and send that fist over the top. Nice high arcing overhand, boom, cross, or an overhand jab so that we can go over that arm and catch him in the face. I know it's a lot. There's a lot of technicals going, so we're just going to get into it, and we're going to see how it flows through, see what we can learn together, where we can find ways to grow. And remember, practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect practice. I don't remember how to say that, but you get the idea. Proper form, proper technique is better than volume, but when you practice these things with proper form, proper technique, volume is going to make that exercise even easier and even better the more you train it. That's how it's cumulative. So that's enough chatting. Let's get into it. We're going to start with basics, jabs and crosses. We'll talk slips and counters as we go. And we'll have some fighting spirit from the 80s helping us out. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Let's do a little creepy beat today. Feeling a creepy beat mood. If you like these beats, feel free to stream them for free on Spotify. Just search the artist at sacklifeofficial.com. Let's do it. Muay Thai stance. Visualize that opponent. Square up with him. Bring the guard high by the brow line. Close the fingers. Tuck the thumbs, right? Basic fist. Make a thumbs up. Closing those fingers nice and tight. Tuck the thumb under those fingers. Keep that wrist straight. Land on those large 2 knuckles. Let's go. Guard high. Step in for the number 1 jab. Twisting through. Roll that shoulder up. Tuck the chin in. Guard high on the opposite side. And rotate back. Step to the jab. And back. Step into the jab. And back. Keep it going. Work that jab. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a little bit of bend in those knees. A little spring in that step. And exhale through those strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to stance. Now we're going to add in the cross. Jab, cross. Down that center line. Chin tuck, guard high. Shoulders roll. 1, 2. Right down the pipe. Let's go. Visualize that target and make sure you're rotating through the whole body. Right from the ground up on the ball of each foot. Right down that center line. Keep it moving. Now we're going to start working that defense. So we're going to step in for the jab. We're going to come back and we're going to visualize our opponent throwing a jab at us. So remember to slip that jab. If they're orthodox, it's going to be the same movement as us throwing that jab. We're just going to bring the guard up high, but the lower half of the body is going to do the same thing. So we step for the jab first, twisting through, boom. Back to stance. Now we're going to deflect the jab, boom, by slipping. Turning in, getting our head on the outside of that line. Brace, bring that elbow in, right, to defend in the center line. Make your shell, make your shield. Keep that guard high. And then rotate back to stance. That is a slip. Slip the jab. Slip the jab. Now fire back. Jab cross. Jab cross. Jab cross. Slip that jab. Boom. Slip the jab. Boom. And remember, don't cover up your vision. Find that spot right before you go blind, right before you block your own vision. Find that sweet spot where you can turn in, head off the line, guard nice and high, and you can still keep contact. Keep visual contact with that opponent. Back to stance. 1, 2. Now slip. Boom. Slip and back. Slip and back. Slip and back. Sink on those knees a little bit. That'll make that rotation nice and easy. Let's hit them with the 1, 2. Back to stance. Slip the jab. And back. Slip the jab. And back. 1, 2. Chin tuck. 1, 2. Slip that jab. And back. Slip. And back. Slip. And back, jab, cross, slips, and back, boom, 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 twist through, keep it going, 1, 2, guard high, 1, 2, guard high, keep it moving. Now we're going to slip the cross as well, so we're going to slip the jab, and then turn through and slip the cross. Back to stance, slip, slip, double slip, boom, boom. We're deflecting those hits, keeping the guard high, chin tuck, slip, slip, boom. Turning through, but not blocking vision, right? Ooh, that's the end of round 1. Catch your breath, drink some water. We're going to start practicing more of those slips and then countering. We're going to fire back after those slips so we can effectively defend and then take that power back. Toss those punches, plant some, set them up for the shots we want to land on their stupid faces when it comes to that depression dummy. Remember, every day you fight back, you prove that you are stronger than those debilitating effects. You prove that those thoughts of you can't or you're not good enough are lies, because we have that proof every day that we did get up, we did fight forwards. And make no mistake, depression is a life-threatening illness, so every day you stay alive is proof of your strength and endurance. Let's get back into it. 10 seconds. We're going to pop back into Muay Thai stance. We're going to talk about the jab and cross. Boom, boom, down that center line. And then we're going to slip the jab and cross. Slip, slip, boom. Keeping that guard high. You can turn your palms forwards or turn them in. That's a matter of preference. But you want to make sure when you turn, you don't block that vision. Don't take your eye off the target. Get your shell up nice and high. Shoulder rolls, right? Guard high here. Boom, boom, boom. Getting the head off the line, but we're still looking through that gap, right? Look through that opening in between the hands so you don't lose track of that target. All right, let's do it. Jab, cross. Back to stance. Slip the jab and then slip the cross. Slip, slip, and then back to stance. Now, what's going to be an effective counter here? When we slip the jab, we can fire back with a cross because that cross is preloaded. So let's practice that a little bit. Slip the jab and then fire back with a cross. Slip the jab, fire back with a cross. Now, when we're slipping that jab, we're slipping to the outside of the fist, right? It's deflecting this way. They're deflecting this way. Their outside's open. So when we fire that cross back, if we fire it straight, we're probably going to deflect off their arm. So what we want to do here is toss that overhand. Toss the cross like an overhand shot here. Instead of going straight from our face to their face, turn over. Turn that fist all the way over so that those knuckles come in from the top and kind of reach over the top of where their arm would be, right? We're going to reach over that defense and catch them in the temple, catch them in the jaw. So slip that jab, boom, right here. Didn't lose eye contact, we're still guarded up. Now when we rotate back, we're going to toss an overhand, boom, into their face, over their defense, and then back to stance. Not a straight cross, but an overhand cross. Boom, back to stance. Guard high, slip the jab, boom, deflected, toss that overhand cross, bang, into their face, back to stance, slip the jab, overhand cross, back to stance, slip the jab, fire back with the overhand cross, whoosh, and back to stance. Keep it balanced. Remember, when we turn in, don't become narrow, don't lean one direction or the other, just sink in and get that head off that center line. Boom, out of the way, boom, and back to stance. But keep it balanced, and return to that balanced stance after each combo. Squared hips, squared shoulders with your target. Hit them with the 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. Now we're gonna slip the jab, slip it, and then fire back with an overhand. Whoosh, boom, overhand, power shot, let's go. Slip that jab, overhand cross, slip, overhand cross, back to stance. Remember, bend those knees so you can rotate nice and easy on the balls of those feet, and you can effectively fight back. Let's go. Slip the jab, overhand cross, and back to stance. Slip the jab, overhand cross, and back to stance. Slip that jab, overhand cross, back to stance. Slip the jab, overhand cross, and back. That's the end of round 2. In round 3, we're going to slip both the jab, the cross, and then we're going to fire back with an overhand jab, which is really kind of going to be almost like a mix between the jab and the cross, because we're going to have that jab hand preloaded. So it's going to be further back, giving us more room to speed it up and drive that overhand cross into that depression dummy's face. Drink some water, check in on you, make sure you're not pushing too hard. Any signs of overreaching, definitely dial back your intensity. We got 30 seconds before we get back into it. And do this thing, 21 seconds. Woo! Make sure you're breathing in the nose and out the mouth on all of these strikes. A little powerful exhale out the mouth will help add power through the core into your punches from the ground up. We've got 8 seconds. Visualize that target. We're going to get back into it. Square up. Visualize the target. Guard high by the brow line. Remember, proper fist. Close the fingers. Tuck the thumbs. Keep the thumbs out of the way of damage, right? Thumbs back here. It's not going to make contact. Wrist nice and straight. Going for those large knuckles. That's what we want to make contact with. Don't put the thumb inside of the fingers. Always close the fingers and then tuck the thumb outside. Back to stance. Guard high. We're going to toss the jab and cross here. Jab and cross, nice and straight. Now we're going to deflect the jab and the cross by slipping. Slip the jab, slip the cross, and we're going to fire back with an overhand jab. It's already pre-wound, so it's going to come from a little further downtown. We're going to toss it through, boom, turn it over. Remember, rotate. Rotate through those hips and shoulders, rotate on the ball of that foot, and send that fist from the slip, boom, all the way over the top into the head. Another good way to counter is with a hook. So we can slip the jab, slip the cross, and then we're preloaded. It's a nice preload to come back with a hook, catch him even more off guard. It's even harder to defend those hooks. But for now, let's stick with the overhand jab for this one. So slip the jab, boom, slip the cross, boom, and now overhand cross from that lead hand side. It's an overhand jab, kind of between a jab and a cross. You get the idea. Follow me visually. Keep that guard high by the brow line, chin tucked, shoulders rolled. Step in for the 1-2. Down that center line. Slip the jab, boom, slip the cross, boom, and fire back with an overhand jab. Boom, back into that face. Remember, over the top, turn those knuckles all the way over 180 degrees so that you can get over that shoulder and over that extended arm that you just slipped from your opponent. Back to stance, guard high, hit him with the 1-2. Right down the pipe, straight punches, 1, 2. Down that pipe, now slip the jab. Boom, right here, don't lose that eye contact, slip the cross. Don't lose that eye contact, and now we're gonna fire back with an overhand. Turning through, boom. Turning through the hips and shoulders, rotating on the ball of that front foot. Square up and let's do it. Step in for the 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now we're gonna slip that 1 and 2. Slip the jab, slip the cross, and then fire back. Boom. Rotating on the ball of that front foot, twisting through the hips, and tossing that overhand counter. Back to stance, guard high. Hit him with the 1, 2. 1, 2. Chin tuck, shoulders rolled, hips curled. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Guard, slip those shots. Slip the jab, hit him with the overhand cross. Whoosh! Back to stance. Now we're going to slip the jab and the cross. Slip the jab, slip the cross, overhand jab. Boom, back to stance. Slip the jab, overhand cross. Whoosh! Back to stance. Slip the cross, just the cross this time. And now overhand jab. Whoosh! Back to stance. Slip the jab, overhand cross. Whoosh! Back to stance. Slip the jab and cross. Slip, slip, and overhand jab. Whoosh! That is the end of round 3. Shout out to Fabio and to UT Doshi. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate you guys and girls out there. That is the end of all 3 rounds of progress and success for today. Hopefully you found tools and room for growth, room for improvement. It is all about making that progress and just staying consistent with it. Consistent training will get you better results than high intensity training where you'll need a break off or a day off afterwards. If we do this right, if we do this smart, we can make it a sustainable routine where we can make that progress, that forward momentum every single day. But keeping in mind our bodies, our minds in the moment. Always remember, it's not about what you did yesterday. It's not about what you're going to do tomorrow. It's about what we can do today to grow and make progress today. And if that's 1 minute of training, that's fine. It's still a step forward. So if it's all 10 minutes, that's fine too. If this wasn't enough and you still got a lot of energy and a lot of output to give yourself a bonus round. Spend some quality time with Bob or a heavy bag. But go out there and make your progress. Make it your own. And do it for yourself first, because that's the best way we can inspire change around us, by being that change that we want to see. And checking in on comments. Mad with Hat saying the strong arms and the thank you. Appreciate you too, brother. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, if you missed this class or caught just the end of it, catch the full replay on YouTube at Sack Life Daily. About 10 minutes after the show, it'll be up there for you to catch at your own discretion whenever you'd like. Until next time, I'll catch you guys same Sack time, same Sack channel, same Sack Life. Sack Man out.